guys are?
Diamond Weapon. My name is Lou.
Jason.
Marco.
Nick.
What kind of music would you guys call yourselves?
I don't know. We get classified a lot as post-hardcore, and that's probably the closest thing, but we have elements of punk, screamo, metal, and everything like that. So
I've been saying like post-alternative. I think that was your first term. I remember when I joined, I was like, what kind of music are we playing? Like post-alternative, I guess?
I think they said it mockingly, but they called us post-nerdcore, and I'm like, yeah, no, I'm going to lean into that. That's definitely us. Because, you know, we play like sad rock and roll, but we'll also wear like Zelda t-shirts and throw in the Ultimate Warrior in between sets.
How long have you guys been in a band? Did you guys know each other before you were in a band?
So Marco and I actually knew each other. We were in a band prior to Diamond Weapon, but when that fizzled out, we started a new one. Nick joined, I think, was it late 2016, I think? Does that sound right?
Yep, that sounds about right.
Yeah, and then Jason... early 2017, and Jason was actually, we played our first show without him, and our second show, we enlisted him. One, I was really impressed because for his audition, he came to the night on a huge major snowstorm in Toronto, and he was early. And I'm like, yes, this is a guy I absolutely want in the band. And the first show we played with him was opening for Danko Jones at Canadian Music Week, so there was a lot of pressure on his shoulders when that happened.
It's no problem. Of course, I didn't throw up or anything. I'm fine.
So we played our first show as Diamond Weapon. It was the Bovine?
Yep.
Yeah. In 2017. So we've been a band, I guess, my math, 4 years? Just over 4 years, yeah.
So the band that you were in before with Marco, were there songs taken from that, or is it a brand new project when you guys brought in the other two?
Well, when we started, we pretty much had some ideas, but we just refreshed everything and started mostly from scratch because we wanted to separate it, so leave that as it was. And this is just a new thing to go with.
So you guys have an amazing stage presence, and what I find with bands when they're really into the live show, there was a band or a show they saw that they were like, I want to do that. Do you guys have one that like stands out in your minds that was like the show that got you to get on stage?
It's anything Travis Barker. Embarrassingly enough, I was like, that guy rips, so I gotta be doing. I'm not saying I'm ripping his stuff, but we all did our own. Like it was innate in the first place, I assume, for all of us.
For me, I remember I went to, it was the Opera House. I was seeing a band called Eric's Trip, which is a grunge band I really enjoyed. But there's an opening band, which was a little band from Brampton named Monine, who absolutely blew my mind away. Okay. And they were just going nuts. And I just remember just like slack-jawed in the audience being like, this is what I want to do, absolutely.
For me, it had to be seeing Thrice at Arrow Hall. And just the way they played everything pretty much perfectly and to a T with no mistakes. And they literally like just had the best kind of unison and they just poured it out to the audience. So that had to be mine.
For me, it was, I think it was Brand New, who was, and like, I'm not the biggest fan of them. And I do like a lot of their earlier records. And it was the guitarist in that band. He had this funky effects on there. I don't know what it was, but it just sounded so good. I think it was like an Oshiego trip too. It was like a bachelor that I was pretty sure I was high. But yeah, I think I was stoned, and I just remember being in that crowd, just being so visceral, you know, just listening to Brand New of all people, and it just blew my mind. And I think there's some Brand New influences here, you know, and I don't know, it just kind of all came together, reminded me of my own band, and here we are.
Who are the Academy of Young Lions?
So the Young Lions are basically the children in the U.S. school system right now. I wrote that song after a school shooting somewhere out in Texas. It sounded, I can't remember the name of the shooting. Like all school shootings have a name, usually named after the city. It sounded like a Florida city, but it actually took in Texas. And I remember being really struck because the shooter was a Greek kid, and I, being Greek, I was like, oh no, this isn't a good look. But I remember watching an interview. You know, the media, they're very sensational after this. They're trying to get interviews with kids who are literally, you know, running for their lives and grieving for their friends. And they asked a girl, and it's like, they asked her, it's like, did you ever think this would happen here? Thinking that, you know, kids would be like, no, I never thought this would happen to me. And she answered, yeah. Of course. Like, we have a school shooting on average every week. We figure it's only a matter of a time before it came here, and it finally did. I'm like, that's a terrible way to live life. So the young lions are the kids in the American school system, just because I feel like they're very hardened by the way they're being brought up in this community, where you're literally going to school and not knowing you're going home every day for your entire tenure at school, and that's no way to live. So that's why I like that song.